The introduction of Nazuna is just so great visually, with the turn and the lighting of the vending machine on their faces.
Yeah.
It's such a striking introduction of the characters.
Oh, yeah.
And you get like, who is this girl? Like this sense of like, oh, she's super mysterious.
Yeah.
And then you find out she's a
But
vampire.
also, there's like a menacing part. Like when Nazuna is
Absolutely.
introduced, there's like a menace to
because
it.
Obviously she's a vampire. The logical thing would be to be afraid of her.
Yep.
But then you find out, oh, she's actually quite friendly.
A lot of the characters all fit in similar boxes as these characters, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're wandering around during the night. They're don't fit within mainstream society.
Yeah,
right?
and that's why I think this ensemble cast works so perfectly, because they all represent aspects of this idea of freedom and what it means to be an individual. Ko is kind of the everyman. And when it comes to Nazuna, she is this free spirit, this idolized figure of freedom. But when it comes to the side characters, like Akira is a good example of, so there's this idea of wanting to conform, but not being able to. But then we meet the vampires. And then we see that they are all quite different. None of them are all can fit in the same box.
Yeah, thematically, it's extremely important to the show, right?
Yeah.
Every single character that's included does not fit within the constraints of society, right?
Yeah.
But nighttime is kind of this freedom. Everyone who just conforms to the societal expectations that placed upon them, right?
Yeah.
They're sleeping by this time, right? And so all of these characters that you see are flawed in some way, right?
Exactly.
There's a part of Ko that doesn't quite conform to the societal expectations of him, right?
Yeah.
And that's why he starts going on these nighttime adventures, right? Nazuna is also similarly kind of an outcast of the group of vampires, right?
Exactly, yeah.
We see this clutch of vampires, I guess. I don't know how you would describe it. And Nazuna doesn't really fit with them, right? And you think, oh, all of these vampires fit because they fit this sort of idea of femininity, and, you know, that group of vampires, you get introduced to them, right? And you just think, oh, this is like the equivalent of human society. That, like, the vampire clique is sort of like the equivalent of human society, right?
Yeah.
And for vampires, right, they're supposed to be out and about at night, right? They're the opposite of us in that sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Their nighttime is supposed to be normal,
That's
everyday
their
life,
domain, yeah.
right? But as the show progresses, we see that all of these vampires are not quite, they don't conform within what we expect as viewers when we think vampire, right?
Yeah.
Vampires have had a pretty bad rap. We're not these mopey old creatures who live in castles.
Seri, the schoolgirl vampire, she falls in love with someone, and she doesn't want to turn them into a vampire, right? And whereas that's the whole point of the show. The vampires say, oh, it's all about, you know, creating more offspring, right?
Yeah.
But she finds a genuine connection with this person, and she doesn't want to change him, right?
Exactly.
She wants to keep this friendship, right? The maid character, right? You know, again, it shows that their whole existence is supposed to be about tempting humans away and turning them into offspring. But the maid vampire, right? She just likes the attention. I think also it's makes sense that they're middle schoolers in this, because they're also kind of trying to find where they fit within society.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's why, again, like, Akira is kind of this like Twilight sort of thing. She's like not quite, she doesn't have one foot fully in the nighttime, but she also doesn't have her one foot fully in the daytime.
Exactly,
right?
yes.
She occupies this in between space, right? So it's how the show utilizes the night and the day to make parallels about society, those that fit within society and those that don't fit within society, right?
Yeah.
That I think is what's so powerful about this show. And I think specifically, I think is a good segue to talk about the colors.
Yeah.
About how the colors also represent this kind of theme.
The uses of blues and purples and yellows for the nightscape, juxtapose that with the daytime when it's just standard color.
Yeah.
And so, like, you get this nice juxtaposition, daytime, the conformity of society.
Yes.
And then you get the vibrant colors of the night sky, which is like the freedom.
Yeah.
This is even more evident when you have night scenes, where Ko is faced with the reality of the situation he's put in.
Yeah.
So in scenes where he's with the detective, for example, the detective is trying to get him to not be a vampire. She's warning him about the dangers of committing to be a vampire and why it's best for him to stay human.
Yeah.
And during those scenes, even though in the night it's incredibly muted, and so Ko's optimism and naivete of this freedom is actually now being smothered out by the harsh reality of the situation.
Yes, exactly. I think when Anko appears, it's reminiscent to the effect of Thor the God Butcher from Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Where did all the color go?
Anko, when she goes around, she literally sucks the color out of the frame.
Yeah.
It is these browns and grays, and she's this harsh wake-up call. Anko represents this reality of what it is to be an adult, right?
Yeah.
And so she pulls the fun out of the night, right? She's working.
Yeah.
And nighttime is her work time. It's not, she can't go drinking and having fun and talking to all the drunkards on the sidewalk. She's looking for clues about trying to find these disappeared people, right?
Yeah.
As the colors change, it was like a tonal, like 180.
Yeah.
I was like, holy are we in the same show? But again, there's also the swap between danger and safety, right? So once Anko brings in, hey, vampires might be dangerous, I don't know if you noticed, a lot of the times when Ko starts getting in trouble, they use these neon pinks and neon greens, right?
Yeah.
That they're still bright, right? They're still in this kind of similar color palette as these purples and oranges, but they're staunch. It's the whole screen, the whole frame is this bright green.
Yeah.
And maybe the eye will be a different color. It really helps to ratchet up the stakes when he finds himself in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just such great direction, right?
Yeah, I mean, they did a perfect book ending for the final episode with Nazuna at the vending machine.
Yeah.
And Ko.
Oh, I mean, that was perfect, right? We complained about Lycris Recoil.
Yeah.
How it should have been Takina holding up Chisato at the end. But this one, Ko mirroring Nazuna at the vending machine was
perfect.
Great. It was spectacular. Awesome. Again, goes to the directing of it. Now it is on to the verdict. Should people watch this show?
I give it a resounding yes. I think you have to watch it.
I think this is another Siskel and Ebert double thumbs up from us. Again, I think one of the better shows of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think that people really should give this one a watch. It's great. It is, if you're hungry for more Monogatari, this is going to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it did a good job. What it was setting out to do. Yeah, because I am intrigued. I'm invested in these characters now. I do want to see what goes on.
Yeah.
What happens.
Same.
Yeah.
All right.
So
yeah.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts?
No, that's it. So just watch Yofukashi. That's it from us.
Yep.
All right. See you guys.
Yep. Thank you so much for watching. And we hope you watch more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See ya.